Hi, this is Samantha Jones, and this is going to be section 4 of my lesson plan. This is what are the activities have you planned? Introduction and modeling. At the beginning of the lesson, the students and I will focus our attention to the whiteboard in front of the class. On the whiteboard, as the teacher, I will project a brief PowerPoint discussing each of the major vertebrate fields and the characteristics of each species in those fields as to why they fit in those specific groups. I will use this to model the information to the students by allowing them to visibly see the 5 major vertebrate groups. I will then go on to guided practice. I will then pull up a list of vertebrate examples on the whiteboard and work with the students to move them in the appropriate groups. I will go through one animal at a time, allowing the class as a group put the vertebrae under the correct group so that all the students have the general idea of what they need to look for. I will then move the students into independent practice. After group discussion, the students will split in groups of 3 and work through the worksheet that I have provided them, cutting out each animal and gluing them to the chart under the appropriate groups. They will work together in their groups to put one chart together using the characteristics of each vertebrae, matching them to one of the 5 major vertebrate groups. I will then close it out by the students will complete their charts in their groups. They will report back to their own desk and then discuss as an entire group. They will then present their findings to the entire class and teacher and discuss why they put those animals in that specific group. And at this time, they will also apply their animals to the large chart that the teacher provided on the whiteboard. For the formative assessment, after they turn in their charts from the group, each student will then take an individual quiz to determine each individual student's understanding on the material. Why have you chosen these activities? I have chosen these activities because it is a way for students and teachers to work together to understand the 5 different vertebrate groups. It's a way to check the students' understanding and comprehension by allowing them to work in small groups together, then having them present their findings to the entire class. The formative assessment will allow the teacher to determine if each individual student understands the material that was presented. I will then move on to section 5 of the lesson plan, the materials and resources. What instructional materials will I use in this lesson? I will use the whiteboard, which will be a teacher and student use to project the information. A projection monitor. This will be a teacher use to initially project the PowerPoint discussion at the beginning of the lesson. I will then provide the chart paper. This is for students' use for the group work. Students will also need scissors. This is used to cut out the vertebrae. They will then have to use glue to apply the vertebrae that they have cut out onto their charts. Students will need pencils for the general use of just writing their names on the charts or any information they would like to jot down. And then students and the teacher will also use markers, and this is to apply their knowledge in animals to the large whiteboard at the end and the report back discussion. Why I've chosen these materials. I have chosen these materials because it's a different technique to teaching the required material. It allows the students to use the material they don't use on a daily basis. These materials are the best way to have the students work together, give them several different visuals of vertebrates so that each student has the same opportunity to understand the information.